Good evening and welcome to Election Night in America 2021. Tonight, control of the U.S. Senate is at stake, and all eyes are on the state of Georgia, where the two Senate races in the 2020 general election advanced to runoffs. Voters have been casting their ballots by mail and in person over the last few weeks, and we will finally get an answer to this question: which party will control the U.S. Senate? If both Democratic candidates are victorious tonight, the Democrats will complete the trifecta, holding control of the executive branch and both chambers of Congress. In the regular Senate election back in November, incumbent senior Senator David Perdue came just shy of the 50% threshold. He received 49.7% of the vote, finishing ahead of his Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff, who won 47.9% of the vote. Shane Hazel, the Libertarian candidate, carried 2.3%, which was just enough to keep Perdue below where he needed to be. Today and in the past few weeks, however, Georgians have been casting their ballots in that race between just Perdue and Ossoff. In Georgia's special election, incumbent Republican Kelly Loeffler was appointed by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp exactly 1 year ago to this date. She faced a tough challenge from Republican Congressman Doug Collins and Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock in an effective three-way race in the general election. As expected, none of the candidates hit 50%, and none managed to receive even a third of the vote outright. Raphael Warnock finished first with 32.9%, followed in second place by incumbent Kelly Loeffler at 25.9%, and in third, Doug Collins at exactly 20%. As runoffs work in Georgia, Warnock and Loeffler have advanced to tonight's runoff. Polls have showed each race as a virtual toss-up, with candidates on both sides leading at different points over the last 2 months. Warnock is expected to stand a better chance against the unpopular Kelly Loeffler than Ossoff is against David Perdue, but both Democratic candidates will face an uphill battle, as turnout is not expected to be as high as it was in November, which many believe was the reason for Joe Biden's surprise victory. Taking a look at the U.S. Senate map, the Republicans have officially won 50 seats and the Democrats 48. The Republicans only need to win one of these races tonight to secure control of the upper chamber, and the Democrats must win both. If they manage to do so, however, they will have control of the Senate, as Vice President Kamala Harris will be the tie-breaking vote in a 50-50 split. The only Democrats to defeat incumbent Republicans this cycle in all of Congress, the House included, were Mark Kelly in Arizona, defeating Martha McSally, and John Hickenlooper in Colorado, defeating Cory Gardner. Not a single Republican incumbent congressman was unseated in this entire election cycle. But we are now counting down the seconds to the 7 p.m. poll closing in Georgia for both runoffs. So let's go to our EP studios for a key race alert. We have 18% of the vote reporting in Georgia, and David Perdue holds an early 95,000 vote lead over Jon Ossoff. He has received 56.73% of the vote thus far to Ossoff's 43.27%. That is a 13-point advantage as of right now, but keep in mind that Republican candidates typically jump in front early in Georgia, as the urban Democratic metropolitan areas typically report results later in the evening than the rural conservative areas. President Donald Trump enjoyed a double-digit lead in Georgia for most of election night in 2020, before the city of Atlanta and Atlanta's suburbs began to mass report their mail-in and early ballots. We expect this to be the case as we advance tonight as well. And taking a look at the special election runoff, there are some early signs of Warnock outperforming Ossoff, as Kelly Loeffler's lead stands just below 80,000 votes. She holds 55.61% to Warnock's 44.39%. That is an 11-point advantage, 2 points below Perdue's. This could end up being extremely significant depending on how close these races get towards the end of the night. We now have 71% of the vote in out of Georgia, a massive influx of mail-in and early in-person votes are starting to report out of the Atlanta metro area, and the races have tightened promptly quite a bit. David Perdue leads Jon Ossoff by 181,000 votes, but he only holds 53.25% of the vote to Ossoff's 46.75%. That is a 6.5 point margin of lead, roughly half of what his lead was in the last update. In the special election, however, it is far closer, as Loeffler continues to underperform Perdue throughout the state. Her lead stands at just 57,000 votes, as she has received 51.03% of the vote thus far to Warnock's 48.97%. That is just about a 2-point lead as of right now, with a lot of vote left to be reported out of Atlanta and Savannah, Georgia. We are hearing that the Warnock campaign is very confident about their chances to win this race at this point, while the Ossoff campaign is understandably more skeptical of their chances. We have 96% of the vote in, so almost all of the vote is reported, and Perdue is holding on to a pretty firm lead, although it has dropped to below 180,000 votes. He leads Ossoff by just 4.5 points now. That is a 2% drop since our last update, but there doesn't seem to be enough vote outstanding for him to make up that gap. But major news, as Raphael Warnock has taken the lead for the first time tonight over incumbent Kelly Loeffler. He is 13,000 votes ahead as of right now, with 50.18% of the vote in his column to Loeffler's 49.82%. It is extremely tight, but very similarly to how things developed in the 2020 presidential election, the expectation is that Warnock's lead will only grow as the final votes are reported. This would be a major victory for the Democratic Party, even if they fail to unseat Perdue and take a Senate majority. As for the Republicans, they will feel a sense of euphoria in avoiding potential disaster so long as Perdue holds on. EP official can now project that incumbent David Perdue has held on to his Senate seat in Georgia, defeating Democrat Jon Ossoff in the runoff election. This is a major win for the GOP, as it ensures that they will in fact retain control of the US Senate and avoid total lockout of power. With an estimated 99% of the vote reporting, let us take a look at the near final results, where David Perdue holds 51.9% to Ossoff's 48.1%. It is very close, but Perdue will win by over 100,000 votes, thanks in large part due to the lower voter turnout from the Democratic Party and a motivated Republican base. His 2.8 point margin of lead is a full point higher than the 1.8 point lead he held in the general election, but he has also benefited from libertarian voters breaking his way, as was expected. A major projection, as we at EP Official can now project that Raphael Warnock has won the runoff for the special election in Georgia, unseating the unpopular Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler and giving the Democrats 49 seats in the US Senate. Warnock led in most polls coming into tonight, but there were concerns that lower turnout would stifle his campaign's chances. In the end, with 99% of the vote now reporting, his lead is just outside recount territory at 34,000 votes. He has won 50.4% of the vote to Loeffler's 49.6%, a margin of 0.8%. And taking a look at the county map, Warnock outperformed Ossoff in the Atlanta area, especially due to African American voters, but even in rural areas, Loeffler did not command the same support as Perdue, and he managed to hold on to his seat. And lastly, let us take a look at the final Senate map. The Republicans hold 51 seats and the Democrats 49. It will be a fascinating next session of the Senate, as there are plenty of moderates on both sides that could break in either direction. Let me know what you guys thought though of this prediction in the comments section down below. Do you agree or disagree with a split result? Also, who are you rooting for? Are there any Perdue or Warnock voters out there? Or possibly even Ossoff Loeffler voters? That would be interesting to see. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this election night prediction. Make sure to like it down below if you did, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out more content from my channel here, and as always, tune in next time. EP out.